Hello everybody. Today, right now, I just finished feeding the worms. I know it's going to look like a different, it's a different video, but in reality it's 2 minutes later. But I'm going to keep my videos different when I'm not adding everything together to make them so long. So now we are going to do another sift on these worm castings that I'm trying to dry and get handled. And there's a lot of worms in here, and I want to save my worms. So these ones are, this bucket here has dried out very nicely. I'm going to get quite a bit of that out. Feeling we're going to be down to one bucket after this because we're going to get a lot of this out. So I'm not sure you can, it's really showing up real well, but there's a lot of worms throughout all of this now, and I don't want to lose them. That's part of the reason I'm doing this. There's still going to be worms in the castings. But this is working really well. To get the castings dried down and dealt with. I think we're going to be down to a single tray after this. Like every handful I put in here is just got a lot of worms in it. So when we get, it might not be this time. I'll see what this other bin's like. But when we get down to the point where we're just dealing with a bunch of hard balls, large balls of castings, I think I'm just going to throw them into that bin that I use to, where my fat worms are, that I use to just, it's going to go into the outside project with the balls and everything, and it's just going to be part of the inoculant because we're really, like this, if this was, well, I don't know how I want to word that. If this was like all I had left, this would be ready to go into that worm bin that I'm talking about. But I have this bin over here, and this bin is not as dry. We're just gonna, first of all, we're gonna take off the nice dry off the top. Sift it. And it's a very quick sift because the stuff's ready to go, right? See, less worms too. Still a few, but I'm going to grab some. But the bottom will be wetter. Actually, this end's really good shape. So I guess it's like, I think we're 3 weeks into messing with the castings after I had them all put away, and I went in to rejuvenate them, and they were just mud. I mean mud. On quite a few of the bins of storage. And to get the worms out, you can't have mud. And I want to get my worms out, so when your castings are in the right condition, it don't take long to sift them. Like if they're real wet, they plug up the screen. But when they're in good condition, and they just seem to drop right through the screen. And so look at along this back side here, lots of worms. And there's still worms dropping through these castings. I've said it many times that my castings are still going to be active in that bin. So I have to do more with it to get more worms out. But man, this stuff has changed so much in the last two weeks. And there's a huge amount of worms in here. Right bin. All right. So you guys tell me, do you think it's worth doing the castings and finding your worms in your castings? Because there's a lot of worms. And they're still hatching. I would guess in this pan alone here, there could be 100 worms, maybe more, 150, maybe 200, maybe as many as what I started my worm farm with. So yep, it's worth it. I am not going to put them back in that bin. These guys are going to go back for more drying. Got lots of paper, so let's do this. And this. All good. Oh. So, we got a good amount out. And yep, there's still worms in there. Don't worry about it. We're going to be handling that in the big bin later. So here's the storage that I'm using now, and I'm gonna try to show you guys things are working. So I keep my lid open, and the top of the castings dries up a little bit, but the moisture's still really good in the bottom, and you want to stir that up and keep it mobile. But I'm going to add this in because while I'm stirring it up, it might as well get mixed. Check your buckets for worms. Alright, let's do a stir. So there's still worms in here, but you're not seeing the concentration in here as you are in them other bin. So and they're probably still hatching in here. There's likely still cocoons hatching in here. We're a couple of weeks away from using any of this, and when we use it, we'll shake it out again, get what we can out for more worms. A couple. But so the bottom is sticky to the fingers. Big deal. Mix it up. It's in a lot nicer shape now than it was when I started reworking my castings because they were too wet. So, let me put the lid on this stuff. Move this back over to have some dry time. Now, got one thing left to do here. So there's going to be worms. There's a worm there, a worm there. And I've explained before that you don't want to just get too crazy with them because you'll hurt them. Crush them, you'll smear them, and they'll be dead. So I'm going to bring over some of this, which is mostly like coffee grounds and paper. And then I swish it around. And I scrub the plastic with the medium, with the coffee grounds and paper. And I clean it up that way. So that when you get done, your worms are into coffee grounds and paper and excuse me, and are easier to get out of the bin because there's probably a lot of bins or a lot of worms in this, because there's a lot of small ones show up because that's what we're dealing with. And by doing that, I think I save a lot more worms. I'm not saying that I don't hurt some, but I don't hurt as many. You don't hurt as many. So then I just keep it all moving. It's just a trick I learned by watching some YouTube people that showed me that trick, and it works real well. So, spread it out. Good to go. And you see, that's why this bin's getting so active, is I have done that when I was cleaning out my sifting bins and whatnot, and my bins when I was getting to the bottom. That's what I did, and these are the worms that came out of it in here, and it's getting more populated and more busy, and that's what we want. And there you go. I think we got some real good progress out of that. You guys have a good day.